Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 24 June 2015 and I apologize. I think it might have been 2 weeks since my last video, and part of that is because I am buried in sharpening and I'm trying to get it all done before I take vacation in July. And I haven't bought too many knives lately either. Just sort of been keeping the nose to the grindstone. No quotes needed, because my nose has been to the grindstone. Anyhow, but I'm doing a video tonight on a knife I bought recently that was completely unexpected. And it has a bit of a story, I think. So it's none of these. These are here for the story. You guys know that I'm kind of a Renaissance man of cutlery, you might say. My knife tastes go from the traditional, like this beautiful number 92 Viper from GEC, or this beautiful number 54 Moose from Great Eastern Cutlery as well. Pretty cool. It's a 3-blade Moose. Look at that. Oh. Subject of a very near future TKA video. So my tastes run from the traditional to the modern tactical. In for sharpening is this gorgeous ZT-0620 M390 carbon fiber. Love that blade. Or even, an inexpensive modern. The Buck Bantam belongs to my nephew Ray from Derek Bone at Knives Ship Free. Knives for Kids program. So, my tastes run the spectrum, don't they? Traditional, modern, even tactical. Heck, might even throw the bench knife in, the serrated Spartan Victorinox. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know that TheApostleP, that he doesn't use his knives. They all look like safe cleans, don't they? Yeah. He just likes to buy them and play with them in front of the camera. It's not like they ever cut anything. Oh, wait. What? Oh. Yeah. That's a working knife right there. Anyway, the point of the video is that there's another category of knife, and I don't even know what to call it. I'm going to call it the fusion knife. A fusion between traditional and modern cutlery. Yeah, I've got a couple of these, don't I? Well, here's one. The Chris Reeve Omnundi. This one in gorgeous Gabon ebony. Well, it's modern because it's a titanium frame lock with a Chris Reeve bushing pivot. It is barely one-hand openable. It's really not. This is the new style opening dent, which I believe Mr. Reeve made rather smooth on purpose to make sure you couldn't get a thumbnail in there. The original was thumbable for some people and not others, and he solved that problem for us in the latest revision. It's really a knife designed to be opened with 2 hands. It's got that gorgeous Chris Reeve clip blade, hollow ground, S35 VN steel. It's a state-of-the-art modern knife. It's a gentleman's folder. Under 4 inches in length, closed, very handsome pocket clip. 2 3/4 inch blade. But you know what? It maybe belongs in this family more than it does in this family. And then you got the Spyderco Bradley Air. Again, smallish. By the way, 1.6 ounces, 1.3 ounces. This is a gorgeous little Spidey humped, Spidey holed Warncliffe blade, ground super thin out of Gail Bradley's darling CPM M4 steel. gorgeous woven glass fiber handle. Also a titanium frame lock, this one with scales on it though. I guess this might be the more modern of the two. It's one hand openable and one hand closable. But again, because of its size and this one, its lack of a clip, does it fit more in that family or in that family? I don't know. Now, these are a fusion, aren't they? Well, I like them. I love to carry these. Generally, there'll be a secondary. I'll have a larger modern folder with me. But these are not the knives we came to talk about tonight, my friends. But I'm going to leave these out. Because the knife we're going to talk about tonight, I put in this sort of traditional / modern fusion category. And it's a new offering from Cold Steel. And it is the Lucky. Check this thing out, guys, would you? It's quite a bit different than these two, but the modern traditional fusion category has a lot of flexibility because I invented it and anything can be in it that I want. So it comes in this little plastic sleeve. Comes with a, I'm going to say, cheesy pocket slip. It's kind of like a faux suede. You can fold it over and tuck in the I'll never carry this knife in this. Guys, this is an embarrassment. This should house, you know, a pair of Chinese lacrosse tweezers from Walgreens, not the knife that comes with it. Okay, so here it is. It's so tiny you can barely see it. It's the Cold Steel Lucky. Designed by Lynn Thompson and Andrew Demko. It is, I guess, sort of a modern take on a muskrat, isn't it? Two opposing blades, each with its own spring but no liner in the middle. It is a slip joint knife. Both blades are identical, except for one thing. We have a plain edge on this side and a serrated on the other. So you get that symmetry of the muskrat with a little bit of flexibility. I don't know what to call this blade. It's sort of a modified swayback pen blade. And it's saber ground, flat from about 2/3, 3/4 of its breadth. And blades are kind of chunky, kind of thick for a traditional, about 78 thousandths thick. I guess that's not really any thicker than a normal GEC its size, but because of its saber ground, it's a little bit more abrupt, a little more obtuse in its approach to the cutting edge, so it's going to thicken more quickly as you sharpen it over time. The blades actually look more modern than they do traditional, don't they? Even though they operate in a traditional fashion. A slip joint with half stops and nail nicks. Pretty good walk and talk. Pull is about a 5 or a 6. Frankly, it could be a little stouter. More case-like than GEC-like, I guess I would say. The scales, and I will call them scales on this knife because it has no liners, so I won't call them covers. They are beautiful, completely void-free carbon fiber in a satin finish, and they are 3D contoured, nicely domed. Pocket clip is tip up, tip down, isn't it? Because there are tips on both ends, and it's one side carry only. The scale is milled to accommodate it. It really works equally well in either pocket, and it works well. It doesn't ride particularly low. I kind of wish it did. I have not tried to take this knife apart and take the clip off. If you notice, the pivot screw retains the clip. It's really a kind of a throw it in the bottom of your pocket knife, and because of the durability of the finishes, I don't think it needs to be in a slip. Oh, what haven't we talked about yet? Yes, we haven't talked about the blade steel, have we? I'm going to get these guys out of the way for just a moment. Let's see. What? Oh, wrong blade. Doggone it. I hate that. They look the same. Okay, here we go. It's the same one. I can't tell them apart through the viewfinder. Okay, here we go. Oh, now we got something cooking. What does that say? Does that say CTS-XHP? It sure does. And it doesn't say Taiwan. It says Italia. I gotta believe, guys, this knife is made by one of those companies in Maniago. Could be Lion Steel, could be Fox, could be Bastinelli. They might all be in the same factory. We've been down this road before, haven't we? What I can tell you is it is extremely well made. I mean, extremely well made. I want to just run around it with you real quick. Let's take a look at that carbon fiber. I challenge you, even in a macro in high definition, to find a void in that carbon fiber. You won't. Let's take a look at the blade centering. I think you'll find they are both perfect. How do we do on the fleshness of the back springs? Well, when the knife is closed, let's look at the business end. So this spring to the top of your screen. When the knife is closed, both springs are a little below flush. When we come to half stop, they're a little proud. When we're open, we are dead flush. Is that perfect? No. Is it a problem? No. How about the symmetry and the quality and the consistency of the blade grinds? Well, let's just take a look, shall we? Notice the flats. The satin is longitudinal, and it appears to be, I hesitate to say hand applied, but it looks hand applied. Maybe a surface grinder. Definitely a grinder satin on the main bevel, and you can see a little something going on there, some striations. Not so much on this side. Laser etching's perfect. The grinds are extremely symmetrical. Don't know if you'll be able to see that. Maybe. And on the serrated blade. On the right side of the blade, we have those striations again. And they're a little bit present on the left side too. So not perfect, but pretty doggone good. I think it's more attractive. I might be calling attention to a characteristic that's really not a problem. It's a very handsome knife. The grinds are very handsome. You do have the semi-effective cold steel serrations. Large 3 small. There's a better look. I think they're a little delicate, but this is kind of a delicate knife. Let me get this thing all the way open so you can see inside. I want you to look at the quality of the finishing inside this knife. The blade tangs, the kicks, the springs are beautifully, magnificently finished. I mean, guys, this is a very well-made knife. I was talking to Campfire Talk about it after I spent a couple hours with it. We were texting back and forth, and we were on the phone, I think. He asked me where I'd place it quality-wise, and I said, well, I don't know what to compare it to, but if I'm going to compare it to a traditional, I'm going to say, and you know, he thought the world was going to come to an end when I said this, but better than Great Eastern Cutlery. If I'm going to compare it to a modern folder, I'm going to say every bit as good as this Spyderco Bradley Air. Not that good, not Umnundi good, but you know what? That's $375. That knife's $170. Street. The Lucky, what is it, like $129 full-blown retail? Right out of the gate, they were streeting for $90. I got this one from a buddy on the Cove on USN. He bought 2 of them brand new and sold one to me for $75. Yeah, carbon fiber construction, 2 precision ground CTS-XHP blades, top shelf construction, machining, and fit and finish for $90. You know, compare that to a traditional, you know, a GEC Viper, number 47 Warncliffe bladed Viper, going to cost almost that much. Tom's Choice Barlow, over $100. Are those better knives than this? I think not. Frankly, is the Bradley Air a better knife? Well, it locks. It has some titanium in it. Is it worth twice as much money? Absolutely not. You know, so how does this knife work? Let's talk about that for a minute. Well, as I said, blade grind's a little obtuse. I think they're very, very similar to the Northwoods Great Eastern Cutlery built knives that have the saber grinds and the heat treat scale. Very, very similar geometry. So that's probably how they cut. They're probably going to hold an edge a lot better than those knives though, because they're CTS-XHP instead of 1095. Now, obviously I've sharpened this one. Didn't need to really fix much, just kind of ran over what was done from the factory, which was very consistent and pretty doggone sharp. I did have to enhance the ricasso just ever so slightly to make sure I could sharpen properly all the way to the back. Let's see if it cuts like a laser. Pretty good stuff. Cold Steel's doing a great job with their steels. So what about in hand with this 2-blade configuration? I think it's quite good. If you want to bring the index finger around in a saber grip, the way the opposing blade terminates, you get just enough room for your finger without that blade being intrusive. Not bad at all. Of course, in the normal grip you're going to use with this knife, that sort of overhand pinch, it's super comfortable. And that satin finished carbon fiber is sort of skid resistant. It's not grippy, but it's not slick either. You can absolutely close the knife one-handed, but it's going to take 2 to open it. But very little effort. And this is a letter opener, isn't it, guys? Letter opener, food prep knife. Here's what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to use it for as a gentleman's folder. You know, you could clip this even in a shirt pocket. if you wanted to. And I'll use it, you know, for daily tasks, a secondary EDC blade. But when I go out to a nice restaurant, I'm going to find a use for this serrated blade. That is the new steak knife, baby. I had no idea I was going to own one of these. Didn't even know it existed until Chad sold his Cold Steel Ranch Boss to the guy that got there first. And he said, hey, I got a couple Luckies coming. You want one? And I said, I don't know what that is, but sure. Yeah, keep me posted. So I did a little research in the meantime, and when he got them in, I was all too happy to take one off his hands. Guys, if you haven't heard this yet, Cold Steel is coming, and they're coming hard in 2015. They are innovating, they're elevating their game when it comes to materials, construction, even manufacturers. Oh, they're making some nice stuff. And I'm probably buying quite a bit of it. And happy to own the Lucky. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the word is sharp.